So the first drill that we're going to look at is basically teaching how to pass and cut for the athlete, right? We want to break it down into a very simple form. We want to teach the athletes how to pass and cut. And before we even get into any 5-out or any motion offense or anything like that, we need the athletes to understand this basic concept. So what we'll do is we'll have two lines, one line right here. This line will typically have a basketball or two, and we'll also have a second line right here. And this line will have no basketballs in their hand. So this line starts with the basketball. And right here, in the 4, 5, and 6 line, we want to teach them how to cut. So we're going to show them a basic kind of V cut into the key and out to try to get open. So we're going to start with number 4. Number 4 is first in line. Number 1 has the basketball in their hand. This is a very simple drill. Number 4 is going to cut in the key and outside of the key back up to the 3-point line. As that happens, number 1 is going to hit number 4 with a pass. After that, we want to teach number 1, this line up here, number 1, 2, and 3. We want to teach them how to cut to look for the basketball. So first, we want to show them that when you cut, you want to have your hands up to receive the basketball, receive the target. And then you want to receive that target and go up for a layup. So number 1, we pass the ball to number 4. Number 1 is going to cut as close to the key as possible and have their hands up for the target. Number 4 is going to hit number 1 with the pass. As that's happening, number 4 hit number 1 with the pass. Number 1 has the basketball. Number 1 is going to go up for a layup. Okay, in this particular situation, it's a left-hand layup. If the lines were on the other side, it would be a right-hand layup. Number 4 is going to follow, and number 4 is going to rebound the basketball. So number 1 does their layup. They finish at the rim. They continue running. Number 4 rebounds the basketball. They're going to continue running, and then the two athletes are going to switch lines. So number 1 is going to run this way backwards, so they're not getting in the middle of the drill. They're going to fill this line, and number 4 with the basketball, they're going to fill this line. Now, like I said, you're going to want 1 or 2 basketballs in this drill, so we're going to assume number 2 already has a basketball. Number 5 is going to do the same thing. They're going to come inside the key and out. Number 2 is going to hit them with the pass. Number 2 is going to cut for the basketball and look for the ball. Number 5 is going to hit them with the pass. And number 2 is going to continue going for their left-hand layup. Number 5 will follow, get the rebound, and both groups continue to fill the opposite line. You'll continue this. I would recommend running it on each side. So maybe you start with this line right here, and then after maybe a few minutes, once you see that your players understand this basic concept, you move the line over here. That way, you can exercise both left-hand layups and right-hand layups. But the basic concept here that we're going over is how to pass and cut, right? How to pass and cut and receive the basketball for a layup. This is basically, everything you need to know for a 5-out offense. You can't have a 5-out offense for your players without having this basic concept, right? So before we even move on to anything else with a 5-out, we have to understand how to pass and cut. All right, so today we are going to be looking at a drill named the 4-line passing drill. And with this drill, basically what we're going to be looking at is how to move the ball in a motion offense, right? We want to move the ball consistently, right? We want to show that when we pass, we're going to move. When we get to the paint, we're going to kick it out, right? So we're basically kind of going over those fundamentals of a motion offense, right? Before we introduce it to a motion offense, or maybe you're teaching motion offense to your team, you want some drills to work on that motion. Well, this is great. So this one, like I said, is called the 4-line passing drill. And basically what we're going to look at here is a paint touch, right? So we're going to be looking at a drive inside the paint here in the middle of the floor. Okay, we're also going to be looking at a pass that's a kick to the corner, right? So we want to kind of imagine that maybe there's a double team in the paint, and we're going to kick it out to some corner players. And we're also going to look at a swing pass. So, some people call this like a one more pass. We want to add one more pass onto a sequence, or a swing pass, swing from one side of the floor to the other. So we're going to add that in there as well. Okay, so this is called the 4-line passing drill. So the first thing that we're going to have to start is we're going to get a paint touch into the paint, right? So number 1 is going to drive into the paint. And the next thing they're going to do, maybe they can get a little bit further, is they're going to kick to the corner. Okay, so we're going to kick it right here to the corner. As that happens, they're going to go fill this spot. Now, number 3, who's in the corner, right, they are going to swing it. Right, so number 3, you're going to swing it right here, okay? And number 3 is going to come in and take this spot, okay? for the next person in line, if we have anybody else in line, they would be lined up here where number 1 started. So now we're going to have that same thing happen. Number 2 is going to drive to the paint, right? They're going to get that paint touch, and then they are going to kick it to the corner. They're going to go fill this line. Number 4 is going to swing up here, and then number 4 will go to the back of this line. And we're going to repeat that sequence over and over. Number 5 gets into the paint, right? They're driving hard paint with the basketball, right? They're going to kick to the corner, fill the spot, right? We're going to swing, right? Fill the spot. Then we're going again. We're going to drive, get a paint touch. Number 3 is driving with the basketball, right? They are going to kick corner, right? They're going to fill that spot. We're going to get a swing up here, and we're going to fill the back of the line. So that's basically consistently what we're doing is you're driving to the paint, kicking to the corner, right? Swinging the basketball. If we look at a little bit faster pace, right? So we'll kind of go now as if we're going live. Number 6 here, they're going to kick it out, right? They're going to fill the spot as that's happening, right? Maybe we can move this person to the 3-point line. We're going to get our swing, right? We're going to drive to the paint, right? Get our paint touch. We're going to kick, right? We're going to fill the back of the line. We're going to swing, right? We're going to fill the back of the line. Then we're continuously moving. So that's basically the rundown on this drill, the 4-line passing drill. It's not, too difficult to learn. It's a great warm-up for your team, right? We look at these active warm-ups all the time, and a lot of times we'll waste 5 to 10 minutes on these active warm-ups where we're making 10 layups and going through the motions and doing this and doing that. Well, if you are in the middle of teaching a motion offense or really trying to enforce ball movement on your team, right, this is a great drill to start practice, get the athletes moving, because you're enforcing those motion offense ball movement concepts and kind of making it muscle memory to, hey, when I drive to the paint right here and I see 2 defenders, or maybe I see an open player on a wing, right, I'm gonna kick it out to them. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna kick it to the wing, right? If I'm a wing player and maybe I see right here is a player that's more open than I am or a better 3-point shooter, I'm gonna kick that, or I'm gonna swing that basketball here for a better 3-point shot, right? So it's really just enforcing those concepts on your players. Hold on one quick second, coaches. Before you go anywhere, I've got a couple free resources waiting for you from the Basketball Coaches Academy that'll take your practices and take your teams to the next level. First off, grab your complete guide to the continuous motion offense, which breaks down exactly how to teach your players to play the game, not just run plays. You'll learn what continuous motion offense really means, proven drills to build it, and how to run a motion offense continuously. We have lots of different things in this guide. We have video demonstrations, we have diagrams, we have descriptions, everything that you would need. If you want your athletes to develop real basketball IQ, this is the starting point. The second item that I have for you is the 5 must-have out-of-bounds plays for all ages. These are game-tested sets that you can run with youth or high school teams. We have baseline out of bounds. We have sideline out of bounds, all free for you. They're simple to teach, tough to guard, and each play includes clear diagrams and coaching points so your team stops wasting possessions. And lastly, I have the practice plan template. And this printable practice plan template is the exact layout that I use to organize and plan every practice session. So you can plug in your warm-ups, skill blocks, team drills, and scrimmage notes so you can walk into every gym with a clear plan and 0 guesswork. So I have these 3 free items for you. You can claim them using the link in the description. They'll be sent to you right away. Enjoy. Now, basically, with this particular drill, what we're going to teach the athletes is basically how to handle a double team, right? Once we get our paint touch, how to handle a double team, which will eventually result in them understanding the concepts of the motion offense. We're also going to teach the athletes that, when you pass the ball, there's a good chance in a motion offense that you will eventually get the ball back and you will be the one that receives the shot. We look at this drill right now, it's going to go back to the initial person with the basketball after the ball already moved around the floor. And lastly, we're going to teach the athletes how to swing the basketball, which is obviously a super important concept with the motion offense. You want the athletes to be able to swing the ball from side to side. So 3 kind of key concepts to a motion offense that we're looking at here. Now, as you can see, we have 4 lines right here, a line right here, a line right here, a line right here, and a line right here. So instead of 3, like we did in our last drill, we're now incorporating a 4th person, which is 1 step closer to our 5 out. So basically, what we're going to do with this play, we're going to have athletes line up into 4 separate lines. It doesn't necessarily need to be 4 people in each line, especially if you have limited numbers. You could have 2 people in each line. You could have sometimes even 1 person in each line. It doesn't really matter too much how many people are in each line. You just want 4 separate spots on the floor, similar to how we have them right here. The balls are always going to start in this line right here, the line where we start the drill. So for us right now, this is our white line. So the first thing that we're going to do in this drill, we want the person with the basketball to get a paint touch. So we're going to have number 1 drive to the basket and get inside the paint. Now what we're going to mimic right now is if there were to be a double team maybe inside the paint, how do we then get our motion offense going? How do we get our read and react continuous offense going? So number 1 is going to be driving to the paint and getting that paint touch. And like I said, we want to mimic a double team right here. So what we're going to have number 1 do when they get that paint touch is they're going to kick the ball out to the green line over here. Okay, so when number 1 kicks the ball out to the green line, they're then going to fill a spot right here. So what we're mimicking right now is, okay, now what does number 1 do? They need to go fill another spot. So number 1 in the blue line is going to come up here and fill another spot. Now what we're going to have happen is number 1 swing the basketball to the purple line, right? Number 1 in the green line, they're going to swing the basketball to the purple line. They're going to swing the basketball right here to this new number 1, and they're going to swing the basketball back to number 1 in this line. And this number 1 is going to drive it to the basket, and they are going to get a wide open layup. So again, what we're teaching here is when you pass the ball to get a motion offense started, there's a good chance that you will get the ball back, right? This white number 1 started right here. Now they finished the drill with getting the wide open layup. We're also teaching the concept of swinging the ball, right? As we see, the ball went from side to side all the way back right here, and we had the wide open layup. So now we'll have the ball reset. So this blue person will go back to the blue line. They'll move to the back of the line. Number 1 will go back to their line. They'll move to the back of the line. Purple will go to the back of the line, and green will go to the back of the line. Now we have our number 2s ready to go. And they're going to do the same thing. Number 2 here is driving to the paint, right? They are going to mimic a double team. And what we're going to have is 2 kick the ball over to green. They're going to fill over here. And as that happens, blue is going to move up, and we get that ball swing all the way back over. Number 2 is going to drive it to the paint and get a wide open layup. Now, if you want to start incorporating more into this, if you have an advanced team and they're starting to understand these concepts a little bit, you can even add now another pass right here and maybe have number 2 shoot a wide open jump shot in the green line once we get another paint touch right here. So again, this is a pretty continuous drill. It's not a drill that's going to see a lot of crazy action, but what we want to basically reinforce here to the athletes is the concept of getting in the paint and swinging the basketball from side to side, swinging the ball, continuously, which is what we want in a continuous motion offense, right? Again, we want to teach them the concepts rather than a robotic play. Now, if we do these concepts over and over and over again, they're eventually going to understand them. Again, this is something that I would teach in a warm-up in the beginning of practice for a few weeks before I go into my 5-out motion offense. And then even when I have my 5-out motion offense, I would use this drill a little bit more at the beginning of practice to just reinforce those tactics that we're going over and how to play basketball the right way in a continuous setting.